This episode is brought to you by Dashlane. Try Dashlane Premium free for 30 days at dashlane.com/infographics. And never forget another password and keep all your online accounts secure. Numerous studies have shown that rich people tend to have better or more positive habits than poor people. And in some areas, the difference is so statistically significant that we can't help but wonder what impact changing your habits could have on your life. Could eating better food and setting goals for yourself really get you from reading Word Up magazine to having Salt and Peppa and Heavy D in the limousine? Once more, we're turning to our favorite lab rat and really hoping that this challenge doesn't somehow place him out of our price point for insane challenges. In our new challenge episode, try rich people habits for a month. Day 1. Typically, infographics challenges involve some level of danger or health hazard, so try and imagine how surprised I was to discover that the latest challenge is actually something to potentially improve my life. Makes me deeply suspicious. But I read and reread the challenge outline and yeah, seems pretty legit. All I have to do is basically change my personal habits to those of a rich person for a month and see how that changes things. The girlfriend is pretty excited about this one. She's all about self-improvement, so anything that's about building yourself up and making yourself better or getting healthier, she's all gung-ho for. Honestly, she's probably the reason why I'll live past 40. So I did some research to discover which habits I'll need to amend, and these are the big ones I saw as things wealthy people do that most of the rest of us don't. Number 1. No eating junk food. Though recent studies into the issue show wealthy Americans eat more junk food than we've been led to believe, I'm going to limit myself to a weekly average of 300 calories a day. I'm not sure you can go to any fast food restaurant in the world and get one meal that's under 300 calories. Pretty sure that the smell of French fries alone is like 250 calories. So I'm guessing that this is data collected over an entire week's worth of eating. That seems reasonable, I guess. With the girlfriend being the Heimlich Himmler of modern health Nazism, I don't get to eat that much junk food anyway. This won't be a difficult habit to stick to, though when I was single, it would have been a different story. Number 2. Goals. Rich people have goals and stick to them, working toward them with all due diligence. Apparently 80% of wealthy people do this and only 12% of the poor do it. I guess that makes sense. You're not going to become CEO if you don't have goals. This one might be harder for me to adopt because I tend to be very free-flowing in my lifestyle. I have some overarching goals, but nothing finite and super specific. Guess this will be a good habit to try out. Number 3. Exercise. Apparently, poor people exercise 50% less than wealthy people. Well, that figure also doesn't take into account that poor people typically have a great deal more stress in their life than wealthy people. Taking time out to exercise when raising kids and working both a full-time and a part-time job is just not realistic for most people. Honestly, this statistic hit me as being a bit elitist, but it's a rich people habit, so I'll have to do it. Of course, I regularly exercise anyway, so honestly, this won't be that difficult to do. Number 4. Audiobooks and nonfiction reading. Okay, so this one is self-explanatory, I guess. Most wealthy people listen to audiobooks during their downtime, such as commutes to and from work, and spend plenty of time reading nonfiction books. Personally, I don't listen to audiobooks because I much prefer to read them myself, and I read both fiction and nonfiction books pretty voraciously. This is so I can stay informed on the vast variety of topics jobs like the infographics requires, but also because I like to be informed, period. The smarter you are, the more successful you're going to be, so I can totally see how this habit is beneficial for building and maintaining wealth. Guess I'll have to pick up an audiobook habit then. Number 5. To-do list. Okay, now this one I already hate. Like I mentioned before, I prefer to keep my life kind of free-flowing, and I've never ever in my life made a to-do list. Yet most rich people have to-do lists versus only around 19% of the poor. Again, totally makes sense and totally not my cup of tea. The girlfriend makes to-do list for literally everything. I make fun of her and ask her if she's going to to-do list our vacations when we have a getaway together. She's tried to get me to do this myself and I've flat out refused for years. Probably why she's far more successful than me, to be honest. You know how God has a sense of humor? He makes complete opposites fall madly in love. Number 6. Lastly, the final habit I'll be adopting or tweaking will be volunteering. Apparently, volunteering is proven to increase happiness, which directly improves just about everything in your life. I actually already volunteer with teenagers suffering from sexual assault and mentor one kid one-on-one. I sneak in other bits of volunteering here and there, but for this month, I'll try to make a greater focus of it and see how it affects me. So there we go, 6 habits to work on, and then maybe in a month's time I can march straight into the infographics and demand more money for my sufferings. I wonder if they thought about how this challenge may backfire on them. Day 7. Week 1 done and dusted. It was kinda weird to shake up my life and try to incorporate all of these things into my daily routine, but I guess after over a year of infographics challenges, I'm kinda used to the random chaos, so adapting wasn't that difficult. To start off, I began waking up earlier than usual because I read somewhere that rich people start their day early, like really early. I'm talking like 5 o'clock early. That's been a nightmare because I typically wake up early just long enough to kiss the girlfriend goodbye as she leaves and then go back to sleep until the dog wakes me up because he has to poop. That's the best thing about my job. You make your own schedule. So I've been getting up early and eating a healthy breakfast instead of my Smacks or Raisin Bran I love so much because both are loaded with sugar. That means fresh fruit, oatmeal, and other random and completely bland things that oatmeal people with no discernible pulse eat. You know, healthy stuff. Okay, I might trash it, but after a week, honestly, I do feel a bit more energetic in the morning. And even though I love sleeping in, I also hate to admit it, but I'm being more productive. I stepped up my volunteering and on top of my mentoring, started doing Meals on Wheels 3 times a week. Basically, you deliver hot meals to seniors who can't really leave the house, or who perhaps don't have much of an income or family to support them. I'm not gonna lie, this was huge for me. I've met the sweetest old ladies living home alone and it's really tugged at my heartstrings. Still reading as much as normal, but picked up audiobooks, which I totally hate. I listen to them during my downtime, so when I drive somewhere or if I take the dog on a long walk. I guess for some people, audiobooks are a great way to inform yourself while being busy throughout your day, and obviously being informed is going to make you more successful. But for me, first of all, I hate hearing another narrator speak out loud a book. It's just weird to me. And second, during my downtime, I've spent that time listening to music, which for me has traditionally been one of the ways I really boost my creativity. As a writer and a photographer, I need to let my mind wander into random, strange, weird places, and music is amazing for that, especially Monster Magnet. Every human should listen to Monster Magnet. But that's not the challenge, so I listened to audiobooks instead. I picked up Obama's Wars as an audiobook to learn more about the behind the scenes of the conflicts during his presidency, some of which affected me directly. It was definitely interesting and, as always, informative. During my regular reading time, which is also part of rich people's habits, I've been reading the memoirs of Nikita Khrushchev, former Soviet premier. It's interesting to see the Cold War from a totally different standpoint, and honestly, anyone who never bothered to learn past a single viewpoint is a fool. Day 14. Okay, this week I really focused on my to-do listing as well as goal setting, which was really annoying. I hate breaking down my days or even writing down goals. I mean, I definitely have goals in mind for what I want to accomplish, but I don't ever write them down or break it down into a step-by-step instruction or objectives. So I sat down with a girlfriend who makes lists for literally everything, and we broke down my goals for the rest of 2019 and 2020. I have a new art show I've been putting together and a major script I've been working on that's all my own, not a commissioned work. So we broke down step-by-step how and when each of those things was going to get done. For the show, we broke down exactly what I needed, how many photo shoots I'd have to do, when I'd start casting, etc., etc. It was driving me nuts. I honestly hate planning so damn much. Like I said, totally free-flowing over here. Because you know who made and loved lists? Hitler and the Nazis. I even had to sit and make daily to-do lists, which made the entire experience like pulling out teeth. I wake up every day and I have literally no idea what I'm going to do with my life that day. I mean, I know that I have due dates for this script and that script, or I have to prepare for this shoot or that shoot, but it's all just like up in the ether as far as when I'll do what. It drives my secret Nazi girlfriend insane, and she can't even figure out how I get anything done. Yet I do, and that's my point. Listen, rich people may make lists and plan out goals, but you don't have to live like they do. Some people are free-flowing, but I guess you have to be really honest with yourself and ask, are you not making to-do lists and writing down goals because you're a free-flowing person who still manages to be successful, or are you just being lazy? Day 21. I cheated on the challenge. I couldn't take it anymore and I drove myself to In-N-Out while I was home alone. And I think I ate more calories than can fit in a normal human being. I'm supposed to average less than 300 calories of junk food a day, which includes things like candy, sweets, not just fast food. And I'm pretty sure I ate a month worth of double-doubles and animal-style fries. Other than my brief slip-up, hey, nobody's perfect. The challenge wears on. In some areas, I can genuinely see how some of these habits could be of benefit. Waking up early and eating better in the morning really does make me feel better. And, well, while I always did regular exercise, I know that not doing it can really lower your self-esteem and your energy levels. Being a couch potato is not conducive to a great life. Trust me, I did, after all, do a challenge on it. But other habits are driving me insane. Making a to-do list every day drives me bonkers. Instead of feeling more focused and like I get more done, I feel constrained and uninspired. I hate seeing that little slip of paper saying what I should or should not have done throughout my day. Screw you, to-do list. You don't own me. I'm a free man. The goal setting, I guess, was good, even though I hate to admit it. Getting an idea down of some practical steps to take in some of my goals was not a bad thing, and actually helped me focus on them a bit more. But not when it comes to my writing. I'm supposed to have a set amount of pages done every day for the script. I'll be shopping around town when it's done, and that's just not happening. My own manager has tried countless times to get me to set these kind of goals, and sorry, but I just don't work that way. Some days I'll write a single page, other days I have literally spent from sunrise to sundown writing, even ignoring meals. The girlfriend really hates those days because it makes her worried about my health. And I love her for how she always brings me food but doesn't try to interrupt me. You can't cage inspiration, man. Day 30. Challenge completed. And honestly, when I reflect on everything that's happened over the last month, it wasn't all that terrible an experience, at least not compared to some of the other monthly or weekly challenges. I'm still psychologically recovering from spending 24 hours in a tub. So some parts of the challenge stuck, others not so much. Honestly, I think that rich people's habits can be great and definitely see the merit in a lot of them. But ultimately, you're your own person. What works for some people may not work for you, and you should embrace that. But like I said in a previous week, just be honest with yourself and admit if you're being lazy or not. The to-do lists can go straight to the deepest depths of hell and stay there. I have literally nothing else to say on the matter. Planning out my goals, though, has actually not been a bad thing. With my writing, it's impossible, but other goals are definitely more manageable. I think if you primarily work as an artist, whether that's writing, painting, photography, acting, or anything else artistic, it's definitely harder to pin down goals because typically you have a different rhythm that doesn't really mesh well with overly detailed goal lists. But I know from personal experience that not having goals is also dangerous. Leaving everything a little too freeform can be a great way to get lazy or just fail outright. Keeping your motivation can be so difficult, especially if you're just starting out as a writer, actor, or anything else that isn't really a typical 9-to-5 job. I think the one habit I'll be sticking with for sure is the increased volunteering. I've grown to love my time with Meals on Wheels. Some of those elderly people are really incredibly lonely, and the Meals on Wheels volunteers are the only people they get to see on a daily basis. It actually made me really sad to discover this. This week, me and the girlfriend went to have an afternoon tea with one of the ladies on my route and just pay her a visit, and she was so excited and happy to have company over. Of all the habits I picked up or improved on, I can't recommend volunteering your time enough. Find a cause that jives with you and go for it. Make someone else's life a little better for a day, and you'll be surprised how it makes yours better too. Also, I'm officially asking for a raise. Sorry, infographics, but you did this to yourself. Oh, and there's just one more habit I suspect rich people have, one that frees up tons of time for all these other habits like self-improvement and volunteering, and that's keeping their information safe online. And the best way to do that? With Dashlane. They'll set you up with automatically generated passwords for each different account, and with your own VPN and breach alerts to let you know if your info's been compromised, Dashlane is the one and only tool you need to keep you safe online. Using Dashlane means giving yourself peace of mind, allowing you to focus on those other habits that will help lead to being rich and successful. Head over to dashlane.com/infographics right now for a free 30-day trial. And if you use the coupon code infographics, you can get 10% off a premium subscription today. What's the craziest habit you heard of rich people having that we didn't cover in this video? Tell us in the comments, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more great content.